Hi all and welcome to Karlpopewoodcraft. In today's video we're going to go back in time approximately 2 years and see how I built the foundations for this very workshop that I'm stood in here today. I'll give you a little tour around the workshop and I'll get straight into the video. A quick look around the workshop for you then guys, just so you can get a feel for what we ended up with at the end of the build series. We're really happy with it. It was approximately 2 years ago now we built this workshop and it's still a work in process. The build videos that you're about to see are approximately 2 years old now and was very new to YouTube at the time and very new to woodworking in general. We've come on a lot since, we've now got our own business. So hopefully these videos are going to be a lot more enjoyable to watch now and you're going to get a bit more out of them. So let us know what you think in the comments. I reply to all the comments and I'll chat to you at the end of the video. Everything about our workshop build was done on a very tight budget. So you might be sat there thinking, why is he using these concrete pavers when he should be laying a concrete slab? Well, unfortunately, the funds couldn't stretch that far. So we did what we did and we made the best of what we had. I found these reclaimed pavers on Facebook Marketplace and they're from an old council property. I laid the paving slabs down in the rough locations where I wanted the workshop to be, and then I placed the 2x4s on top of these, so we had a rough idea of the dimensions of the workshop. We then measured from corner to corner of the base. This didn't need to be super accurate at this moment in time, as we could square the wooden base up later on. The next part of the build was one of the most important in my opinion, and that's because we need all these slabs perfectly flat and level with each other so the workshop floor is nice and stable and flat. This is because we're going to be building furniture inside the workshop and we'll need a large flat level surface in order to build the furniture on. So the way we did that was we used a 2x4 and a spirit level and we checked the slabs in pairs and we made sure each and every opposite slab was level to each other, and the way we got them level was to compact sand hard underneath each slab, and we kept doing this and rechecking until each and every slab was level with the one next to it. Making sure all the slabs was level with one another took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to do, but I got there in the end with the help of my daughter Amy. When all the slabs was level, we then compacted as much sand as we could against the edge of the slabs in the hope that the slabs wouldn't move once we'd assembled the frame. And over the last 2 years since the shed's been built, nothing seems to have moved, so again we seem to have been really fortunate that our ground is very stable. The next phase of the build was to construct the framework for the base of the workshop. And to do this I used pressure treated 2x4 timbers. And to secure the 2x4s together, I used 100mm galvanised nails. It was about this time I thought about investing in a framing nailer, because the tendonitis in my elbows was really beginning to hurt. But I didn't do it, I pushed on using the hammer and nails, and again, I got there in the end. As you can see, I've built the framework in several portions, and that's because to get these timbers home, which came in 4.2 metres, I had to cut them down to get them into my van, which could only take up to 2.4 metres. So what we did is we built the framework in 3 sections and then we attached these sections together to make one large base. It's quite difficult to see what I'm doing here, but I'm measuring the distance for each and every 2x4. So when I put the plywood sheets on top, which are 4 feet wide, each seam meets over where there's a 2x4, so it's secure and we can fasten it directly to them and there'll be no warping or bending of the boards. When I was joining the individual frameworks together to connect them all to make one large frame, I used some spack screws 80mm long. I did this because I didn't want any slippage or these coming apart over time, and I wasn't too sure if nails alone would be able to hold this. So I doubled up and I used screws and I used the 100mm nails as well. And just in time to give me that well needed break, Rupert popped out the house to see if I was coming in for a cup of tea, so of course I obliged. This last piece of the framework that I had to attach to the rest was only about 3 feet in diameter, so I was really worried about this piece, especially with this corner supporting the right hand side of the framework. To combat this then, I tilted the mitres over to 45 degrees and I cut some cross braces and placed these in every corner of the frame. I also put these in several other areas of the framework, what I thought could do with extra support or could possibly be problematic in the future. One thing I actually forgot to do in all the excitement in building the framework for the base is to add the weed control underneath. Now I'm not sure if this was actually needed anyway, because it's going to be that dark under there, there's going to be no sunlight, I don't think anything's ever going to grow. But I lifted it up anyway and the girls slid it underneath. We then attached it with some plastic plugs which you just push directly into the ground.
not too bad.
If you've stuck around to the end of the video, guys, thanks a lot, we really do appreciate that. The next video is going to be us laying the floorboards down and putting up the walls. Stick around, check it out. It's going to be out next week. If you're a regular viewer of the channel and you'd like to support us, don't forget you can do that on PayPal, Patreon and channel membership. Catch you next week then, guys, when we're going to be starting putting these walls up.